freedom and beauty to everyone. I am the Technomage and welcome back to The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power review, this time episode 6. And well, I have to say that in previous episodes, every character on this series has been really dumb, but this time they really outdid themselves, especially Galadriel. Galadriel became, in like a couple of scenes, the dumbest character on this series, and I will get to it. And we have a few more of the Lord of the Rings shenanigans we have seen on previous episodes, so let's get to it. So we begin this episode with Adar giving a speech to all of his assembled orcs, telling them that soon enough we will conquer these lands and make them our own, and we will have a home of our own, and we will never be slaves. So all the orcs march towards the watchtower with Adar in front, and they get in the watchtower and they realize it's empty. Nobody's there, so they start searching for the survivors and for Arondir, and they can find him, and Adar says, no, he is nearby. And he's right. Arondir was actually hidden somewhere, and he starts shooting arrows to some orcs. Then he grabs a fire arrow and shoots it to some ropes, to some kind of a frame that is holding the tower together, and the watchtower tumbles down. After a lot of dramatic moments, the frame that was holding it together falls down, and it crumbles, and the whole structure with the tower, the keep, the walls, everything starts to crumble, and it kills many orcs. And we see Bronwyn and the other villagers away from the tower, almost back to their village, celebrating all the dead orcs, and then they continue their journey back to their village. Meanwhile, the Numenorians are still sailing on the 3 ships that managed to come out Numenor after the minister's son burned 2 of them, and Isildur can sleep. Well, not that he can sleep, he wakes up really early because he has some duties to attend with the horses, and then he goes to the upper deck to watch the sunrise, and he has some conversation with Galadriel, while the queen is studying some maps to have a better understanding of which route they will take to arrive to where they need to go. Next morning, Arondir is back at the village with the other villagers, and he tries to destroy Sauron's sword hilt, but he can't. The hilt is too strong, and then him and Bronwyn give a speech to the other assembled villagers of what strategy they will use to defend themselves and kill as many orcs as they can. And Arondir promises them that come dusk the orcs will arrive, but if everyone works together, he promises them that everyone will see another dawn. And Arondir and Bronwyn finally have a intimate moment together. So night arrives, and the orcs start attacking the village, but the villagers actually had a really good plan. They surround the orcs with fire, and they start raining arrows on them from the rooftops. Then other villagers appears with spears and pitchforks and scythes and sickles, and they start fighting the orcs. And Arondir actually has some trouble with one particularly large orc, and we see that Arondir actually knows how to fight. And not just Arondir, I mean the actor that plays Arondir does some really acrobatic moves and maneuvers and throws some really good punches and kick and roundhouse kicks and the like. So Arondir's actor Ismael Cruz Cordova actually, you can tell that at least he actually trained for his role. He actually knows how how to how to fight. Or at least train himself to pretend to know how to fight. Unlike Galadriel's actress Morden Clark, which, as I mentioned on the previous episode, her fighting with swords against the Numenorians recruit was embarrassingly bad. So where was I? Ah yes, but the other orc is way too big for him, and he's having a lot of trouble defeating it, and he has to be saved by Bronwyn. And it seems the villagers won. Everybody's really happy, but then Arondir realizes that one of the orcs has red blood, which is strange because orcs have black blood. And he realizes that while there were some orcs among the attacking force that they just engaged, many of them were actually humans, the other villagers that left the watchtower with the old man and offer themselves to Adar. And then many arrows starts raining on the villagers. Many died immediately. Bronwyn is hit and is badly wounded. And then we see that the real orcs were hiding just out of sight among the trees, and now they begin their attack on the village. Bronwyn is so badly wounded that they actually have to burn her wounds to stop stop her from bleeding out. And Adar makes his entrance. Meanwhile, now this is kind of strange because it's still night at the village. It's really dark, but we see the Numenorians riding with the dawn. So what, they are maybe still a whole day, or maybe 8 hours away from the village that they, or maybe it's because of the mountains, because here we see when the queen was consulting some maps, the village, I mean, here's the watchtower, here is the village, and they are coming from the west. They use the rivers to get as close as possible. So that is why we can't see them. I mean, that is why it's still night in the village, but the Numenorians already can see the sun, or something. Well, I don't know. Why am I troubling myself trying to find any kind of logic on this series? Anyway, Adar enters the tavern where the surviving villagers were taking refuge. The orcs managed to break the door, and they take everyone hostage, and Adar begins killing villagers one by one. telling Arondir, if you don't tell me where the hilt is, everyone, I'm going to kill everyone. And when when he threatens Bronwyn, Theo says, "No, no, no. All right, right. I will tell you where it is." And he lifts a stone from the floor, and Adar finds the sword hilt. But at that moment, finally, dawn arrives when the sun is starting to rise, and the Numenorians arrive at the village. And Adar goes out with the sword and tells the old man, "I have a special mission for you." So we have the Numenorians swarming the village with their horses and destroying the orcs. And here comes Galadriel, finally having the fight that she wanted. And I kid you not, she starts doing some crazy horsemanship maneuvers like it's ridiculous. Like, nobody else can do this. She can do all these acrobatic maneuvers while her horse is still riding, and I kid you not, she does what you see here on your screens to dodge an arrow. Just a single arrow, she do this maneuver, and then while she's still upside down and the horse is still running, she goes to the orc that was shooting arrows at her, and she kills that orc while hanging upside down on a running horse. And she meets up with Arondir, who informs her that the leader of the orcs is running away with a powerful artifact or something. I don't know. They were talking in Elvish, and unfortunately, the subtitles weren't working. So she does some other crazy acrobatic maneuvers again, this time avoiding a spear, and Arondir has a fangirl moment, telling Theo, "Oh, that is the commander of the northern armies, Galadriel." Ah! So we have a pursuit, and it seems that Adar is going to manage to run away, but Halbrand appears in front of them and he trips Adar's horse. And Adar begins to taunt him, saying, "Oh, what did I do? I don't remember who you are. What did I do to you? Did I kill a woman, a child?" And Halbrand is about to kill him, but Galadriel tells him, "No, I need him. We have to interrogate him." And back at the village, Galadriel is interrogating Adar, and they are talking. She says that when I was a girl, I heard stories of you, the first elves that were captured and tortured by Morgoth. You are one of them, one of the Moriundur, the first orcs." And Adar looks at her and he says, "We prefer Uruk." Like, seriously, he says, "We identify as Uruk." So, and they begin talking now, where is Sauron? She asks, and he says, after Morgoth was defeated, Sauron took his place and he ruined everything. He has this obsession with some kind of power, and he killed many of my children, so I killed Sauron to liberate myself and my brothers from him. We are not working for Sauron, we are not servants of Sauron, we are free orcs, and we will turn this land into our home. Which infuriates Galadriel because she cannot believe that the orcs actually can be free, or that Sauron is actually dead. So, and Adar taunts her even further, saying, "I see I am not the only elf that has been transformed by the darkness." And she's about to kill Adar, but Bron, Halbrand tells her, no, if I don't get to kill him, you don't get to kill him. So then they are both sit outside, they start to talk, that thank you for stopping me before I kill him, and Halbrand says, while I was in battle with you, I felt this feeling that I could continue fighting with you forever, or something like that. And I kid you not, Galadriel says, I had the same feeling. They are shipping Galadriel with Halbrand. Oh, for the love of. Anyway, Arondir takes Bronwyn to meet with the Númenórean Queen, and she congratulates her for being so brave and so strong, for leading all the villagers against the orcs. And then she's presented to Halbrand, and Bronwyn sees the symbol that Halbrand is carrying, and she realizes that is the royal symbol of the Southlands, and Halbrand reveals himself as the king of the Southlands, and everybody cheers him and says, all hail the king. And Galadriel gives Arondir the sword hilt, well, at least the piece of rock that is concealing the sword hilt to Arondir, and Arondir goes to talk to Theo, and he tells Theo, you don't need to be ashamed of yourself for revealing where the sword hilt was. Anybody would have done that. And Theo says, no, I'm not just ashamed, I am sad because I feel lost, because without the sword I feel weak, while I had the sword I felt powerful. So Arondir gives the sword to Theo, says, get rid of that feeling and give the sword to the Númenóreans. But in this moment, Theo becomes the most intelligent characters in the series. Like, seriously. Because when Theo has the bundle on his hand, he actually opens it and realizes that it is not the sword hilt, it's just an axe. Like, seriously, Galadriel had that bundle on her hands for I don't know how long, since they captured Adar, and during that whole time that she was interrogating Adar, she had the bundle on her hands, and she in no moment did it occur to her to open the bundle and see the sword hilt. And Arondir, who has seen the sword hilt, who has held the sword hilt, had the bundle on his hand, and he never realizes, hey, wait a minute, this doesn't feel right. This is too light. This is too small to be the sword hilt. But no, none of them even considered checking the bundle except Theo, because Theo opens the bundle and he realizes it is not the sword hilt, it is just an axe. And then we see the old man back at the ruin, what's left of the watchtower, with the sword. He stabs himself on the arm with the sword to activate it. And when they said the sword was a key, they weren't joking, because right here you see this pedestal with this slot where the sword goes there, and he literally turns the sword like a key, which activates a mechanism that, and we see some stone getting inside the like moving inwards, and a gate opening, and we see that the watchtower was actually a dam. and the dam opens completely, and the lake that was behind the dam starts rushing down to the Southlands, and we have a touching moment between father and son, and then every well on the village explodes like a haze, like a geyser, and we see that the water is rushing through all the tunnels that the orcs were excavating underground, and all these trenches that the orcs were making their slaves dig throughout the land, and all these trenches and all these underground tunnels lead to this mountain, and all the water falls to a underground cavern where there is magma, and it's produced, and the cool water and the really hot magma create this explosive phreatic reaction. By the way, phreatic reaction is something that exists, Google it. And the mountain explodes because it was not a mountain, it was a dormant volcano. And Galadriel stares. And then a sonic boom from the initial eruption sweeps across the village, and the few surviving orcs that were taken prisoners starts to revolt and try to escape, and Galadriel stares. And finally the mountain explodes in a shower of fire and superheated ash, and fire rains on the village, and the people are screaming and dying because some of these really hot rocks fall on some people, and Galadriel stares. And one of these fireballs almost hits Isildur, and Galadriel stares, and a huge cloud of really hot superheated magma and ash and gas and what not toxic gases rushes through the valley, burning everything on its path. And the Queen of Númenor is trying to help people get out of the village, and Halbrand also is leading people outside, and Arondir and Bronwyn and the Númenorian soldiers are trying to lead the villagers to safety, and Galadriel stares. And the cloud of superheated ash sweeps across the village, burning everything on its path, and Adar managed to escape from his shackles and is nowhere to be seen, and Galadriel stares. And the superheated cloud of ash sweeps over her, and that is the end of the episode. Yes, that is what happened. So, what do we have on this episode? We have Adar giving some kind of Braveheart speech to the orcs, saying that the orcs were actually oppressed, that they used to be slaves, and they will no longer be slaves. And then we have some kind of I have a dream speech from Arondir, who tells the villagers, I believe that we will see another dawn. Do you believe? Or something like that. And then we have the proper fight, and Arondir, who is this trained soldier with centuries of experience, who actually have some really good tactics and moves, he cannot defeat the one orc, and he has to be rescued by a woman. And of course, how can we forget Galadriel? Of course, we have Galadriel doing all of her incredible Galadriel things, because she is Galadriel and she's the bestest ever. So much so that even Arondir is fangirling over her. And then we have the moment that really pissed me off, where for maybe a couple of hours, Galadriel had that bundle on her since they capture Adar. She has the bundle that supposedly is hiding the hilt, and in all that time, it did never occur to her to actually, or Arondir, because Arondir then receives the bundle from Galadriel, and none of them thinks about, hey, let's check it out, because because Arondir actually has held the sword hilt on his hand. He has watched it. He has felt it. He knows what shapes it has and all of that. And he had the bundle on his hand, and in no moment he thinks, hey, this doesn't feel right, this is too light, this is too small. Until Theo has the bundle on his hand and he opens it and he realizes it is not the hilt. The hilt is in the hands of the old man who executes the orcs' ancient master plan of waking up this dormant volcano to burn all of the Soullands so they can create their promised land or something like that. So as I said at the beginning of this video, everybody on this episode is stupid. Like really, really stupid. I mean, the people that is supposed to be the smartest people on this show, especially Galadriel. Especially Galadriel. She's supposed to be the smartest person on this show, and in no moment does it occur to her to check the bundle to make sure that it is actually the sword hilt. But no, it is a little human boy who is actually the smartest person on this show. And while the mountain is exploding and fire is raining on the village, on the people, when almost there is people dying or almost dying because of the fire raining from the sky, and the queen of region of Numenor is herself not just giving orders to her soldiers to help the villagers, she's doing it herself. She's trying to guide people to safety, and Halbrand is stepping up as the king of the Southlands, helping his subjects. And Arondir and a wounded Bronwyn also tries to help the people enduring. And there is this cloud of magma and ash burning everything, and during all this time, Galadriel just stares, completely paralyzed, and she receives the cloud right in front of her, like it's nothing. Seriously, how did they did it? How did they manage to make Galadriel such a horrible character? She has spent these 6 episodes, I mean the last 5 episodes and this one, parading herself like the only intelligent person in all of Middle Earth. That she's the only one that sees that the orcs and Sauron has some secret plan, that Sauron is hidden out there, and she managed to convince the queen to organize the expedition to save the Southlands. She used Halbrand as the lost king of the Southlands to raise Numenorian support for her personal war against Sauron and the orcs. I mean, she has done all of that, and in no moment does it occur to her to check the bloody bundle. Our heroine. This is the Technomage signing off. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye.